Hello again, friends. Today I am very happy to be talking to Chris Ferrie. And Chris is a quantum physicist, an expat Canadian living in Sydney, Australia, author of books, and most recently the creator of a line of science books for babies. And Chris, I have to tell you that I've got about $165 in those books sitting in my Amazon cart as we speak. So, curse you for my early Christmas shopping. But tell me a little bit about, first off, your background. Quantum physics is just one of those terms that people go, oh my God, I can't even think about it. So tell me about your background and how you got into that area of science.
I think it was pretty natural for somebody who is interested in science and goes to university because you're required to take a quantum physics course. So even if you hadn't heard about it before as like a high schooler, you'll hear about it once you end up at university. So I was interested in math and physics when I was a high school student, and I went to university to study those things. And at some point, I was introduced to quantum physics in my subjects, and I just thought, that was the most interesting thing that I had heard about at that point. And I had the opportunity to do some research as an undergraduate student with some of the professors at the university. So that's the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. And yeah, it was just kind of, I mean, at some point you just kind of follow the path of least resistance. So I'd done a little bit of research, and my options were to switch or continue to build on what I already knew. And I chose to build on what I had already known. So it kind of just built and steamrolled from there. So it's just kind of serendipitous. I had a great physics professor at university, and yeah, it all came from there.
I find it funny to hear that choosing to study quantum physics is the path of least resistance. You would have thought basket weaving or something, or poetry.
Oh no, the reason that I loved math in school was because everything was so cut and dry. I mean, I remember, I think I wrote about this. I don't think my high school English teacher read it because he never contacted me. But the first day of class, he said, "I've never given a mark above 80%." And I thought, well, in my math class, if I get everything right, I get 100%. So this, to me is a no-brainer, right? There's an answer, and if you get the right answer, then there's no arguing about it. So that's kind of why I liked math. To me, it was simple. It was the path of least resistance because you couldn't argue endlessly about what's right and what's wrong. There's a definitive answer, and at the end of the day, physics it's just mathematics.
So let's talk about taking these concepts, which most of us are daunted by, and bringing them down to a level where I could actually sit down with one of my grandchildren and read them a book about quantum physics. Tell me about that process.
Well, it's a lot of things. So I think part of what I do and who I am is kind of like I want to say like a jack of all trades, but not a not real trades. Like I couldn't build a house or fix an electrical socket. But so I like to bring in concepts from math and art and design, and especially humor. So this was like a combination of me wanting to convey something about science, but also I knew it was going to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, the juxtaposition of quantum physics and babies. So I knew it would have that sort of humorous appeal to it as well. And I didn't want to shy away from that. So the idea of starting with a ball, every book starts, this is a ball. The idea of starting with that and ending with now you know quantum physics, I found a bit funny. And so I wanted to stick with that as well. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And I kind of trial and error my stories, and I go with the one that I think works the best and has the best feedback. So of course I read it to my own kids. Not so much anymore. I don't have any babies, but in the early days, I read it to my own kids and see if they enjoyed it. If they smiled, if they paid attention, if they pointed at the page. And each book kind of just tries to convey a simple topic within the realm of the title of the book, such that a child will be engaged when someone reads it to them.
So obviously you were motivated, I would expect, by having children of your own and wanting to convey scientific concepts to them. Is there any kind of, I don't even know how to put this, is there any way of knowing if kids are actually absorbing these concepts after you read them, because they read them over and over again, right? Do we know, do they get it?
So that's an interesting question. I think it's one that doesn't come up a lot, but sometimes. And I guess I try to avoid it because I don't ever want it to be the situation where there's a test at the end of reading the book. But I can tell you that a lot of the feedback that I get about the books are parents that are excited about their kids, repeating things that they heard in the book or coming up with their own explanations for things. So, stories of 3-year-olds correcting strangers about how many planets there are, and things like that. I think demonstrate that some of the things are certainly, being remembered, and some of them are a bit conceptual too. I've heard of parents saying that their child will ask kind of profound questions like, well, if everything in the book, it says everything's made of atoms, and then they say, am I made of atoms? Why can't I see the atoms? That sort of thing. It prompts these questions that seem to demonstrate some understanding.
What was your objective? Was your objective, like other scientists who are motivated to get more kids interested in science? Was it just for fun? Did it happen by accident? Like, did you have a plan?
No, there's never a plan. Yeah, it's in some sense, it started by accident. But once I had the idea, then it evolved into something more. So how it started was I wrote quantum physics for babies for my daughter, to take to her school, because she was meant to donate a book for her birthday to her classroom, and it had to be a non-fiction book. So those are difficult to find for really young kids. I think she was 3 at the time. And so I thought, well, I'll just write one myself and send it along with her. And to make it look like a real book, not just printed on computer paper, I went through the process of self-publishing, so that I could get a physical copy of the book. And at that point, it was one more button click to make it go live on Amazon. And so I said, why not? We'll try it. And people were really they were really interested in it. I got really great feedback and asking if I was going to write more books. And so then I started to think, about why would I write more books? What would the purpose be? And I think for me, one of the most important things is to eliminate the fear and anxiety that many parents have with complex topics that are extremely relevant to the world, because that fear and anxiety very quickly gets absorbed by their own children. So one example that occurred to me, or that happened to me, when I was picking one of my kids up from school, I overheard a conversation between a young girl and her mother, and the young girl had a math test, and she said, I didn't do well on my math test. And there was a sigh of relief from the parent. And the reason for the relief was that the parent didn't like math when they were in school, and they were relieved that they don't have a math child that they have to continue to engage with on the topic of mathematics. And that kind of, as a person who likes math and mathematician, it kind of breaks my heart to see that sort of thing happen. And so in that, it's that sort of thing that I wanted to help alleviate, give parents a way to enjoy and share science and complex topics with their kids and not be afraid of them.
Can we share and enjoy a book from you? I know you need to
Sure.
get your sharing set up, but I would love to have you read to me. Tell me a story.
Sure, yeah. So when I read online, we go to the Dr. Chris Steam lab, and uh, and I can share the book on the screen like this. So this is a book called "There Was a Black Hole That Swallowed the Universe," and this one is illustrated by Susan Batory. So let's begin. There was a black hole that swallowed the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a galaxy. It left quite a cavity after swallowing that galaxy. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a star. It couldn't get far, that bright shining star. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a planet. Very organic, this fine-looking planet. It swallowed the planets that orbited stars. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a cell. It might get on well after swallowing a cell. It swallowed the cells that gave life to the planets. It swallowed the planets that orbited stars. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a molecule. It thought it was fuel, a big molecule. It swallowed the molecules that fed the cells. It swallowed the cells that gave life to the planets. It swallowed the planets that orbited stars. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed an atom. It's hard to get at them, those tiny atoms. It swallowed the atoms that built up the molecules. It swallowed the molecules that fed the cells. It swallowed the cells that gave life to the planets. It swallowed the planets that orbited stars. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a neutron. A good start to build on, a neutral neutron. It swallowed the neutrons that stabled the atoms. It swallowed the atoms that built up the molecules. It swallowed the molecules that fed the cells. It swallowed the cells that gave life to the planets. It swallowed the planets that orbited stars. It swallowed the stars that lit up the galaxies. It swallowed the galaxies that filled the universe. I don't know why it swallowed the universe. Oh well, it couldn't get worse. There was a black hole that swallowed a quark. That's all there was, and now it's dark. The end.
That's great. That is great. Chris, it's been a treat talking to you. I'm going to go and finalize my purchase on Amazon. In the meantime, I wish you good luck. And these books really are delightful. I'm very happy to talk to you, and all the best.
Thanks, Joanna.